welcome to my kitchen in this circa 1890 house. Big decisions are happening on the Gilded Age Rescue project. We're starting to think about the new kitchen. We need to take a few steps back and think about what are the principles that guide us when we are designing a new kitchen in an old house. And where better to start than my own house? Here's some thoughts about a kitchen ideology for a house that's worth preserving. Kitchens have a really interesting history. A fitted kitchen is a relatively modern invention, really from the late 19th century, when there was this focus on domestic efficiency and designing kitchens that could be managed by the household, not necessarily staff. Some people talk about a farmhouse kitchen, and they might look at this kitchen and say, oh yeah, that's a farmhouse. This is not a farmhouse. This was probably a worker's cottage. But I think what people are getting at is this idea of an unfitted kitchen. So this is kind of a hybrid. We do have some built-in cabinets, but we also have freestanding furniture. So instead of having maybe a big island, we have a table where we can all gather, we can have dinner together. But I also use this very often as a work table. So it's an extension of the countertop space. I love this piece. This is a hutch that we found at an antique store in Hudson. Just so functional because we don't have a lot of built-in storage in this kitchen. A piece like this not only looks great, but it packs a lot. It's a bookshelf. It's storage for glasses. We've got all of our linens in it. And it also has workspace if you need places to put things down. We felt very strongly about not putting a built-in run here because of this wainscoting. It has that beadboard, that wide beadboard with this chair rail on top. I know it looks like it's a mess and it's got like lots of coats of things on it. We like that. We like the layers. We like the look of all of the different patterns that were created by different repairs and paint in the past, and that's an aesthetic choice. When my husband and I bought this house 20 years ago, the kitchen was in this location, but it looked nothing like this. The house had essentially been abandoned for several years. The squirrels had moved in, and there was a lot that we needed to rewind. The good thing was that even though this had been a kitchen from the second half of the 20th century, there was still so much that had been preserved from before then. So what I would call character-defining features of this house. I would say this house is profoundly modest. These were people who worked in the orchards or on the docks or in the mines. This was probably a rental property. So nothing fancy here, but still some really special qualities that we wanted to make sure to preserve. A lot of times in an old house, the kitchen is somewhere off to the side. It might even be in the basement. Like at the Gilded Age Rescue, a kitchen in a late 19th century house that is very much set apart from the rest of the life of the house. So it's in a service space, and so the challenge there for the team is going to be how to connect the kitchen with the rest of the house and use it the way that they want to use it for their family. We were lucky enough to have this pantry off the kitchen, which was great for additional storage. And we even tucked the refrigerator back in here so that it wasn't sitting in the middle of the kitchen. Tucking a refrigerator into a pantry off of the kitchen is a move that you saw at the Gilded Age Rescue project too. It's a smart way to save space in the actual kitchen but still have the refrigerator easily accessible, and this is a move you might want to try in your kitchen as well. We had these great original built-in cabinets with original hardware. Again, very, very modest. We wanted to keep that and have the functionality of a second sink and also additional storage. I said that this house was abandoned when we first bought it, abandoned by humans. There were a number of squirrels living in the house, and their nests were all in these cabinets. So guess who got to go under there and clean them all out? That was me. People always ask if this stove was here when we bought the house, and in fact, it was not. This is a salvage stove from the 1940s that we got at Zaborski Emporium in Kingston, one of our favorite architectural warehouses. So we designed this whole wall around having this stove here. So before, there was knotty pine cabinets from the 1950s that we decided to replace with just these very simple, basically shaker style cabinets. We did do a Douglas fir salvage wood countertop, which we got from the Hudson Company in Pine Plains, but none of this was here. What was here was this floor. This is a Douglas fir floor that is laid on top of the original subfloor. Layered over that, when we came to the house, was this very 1950s atomic design linoleum that unfortunately was not in a salvageable condition. But when we peeled that up, we found this floor underneath. And we left it basically unfinished because we like that kind of wear pattern in the floor. You can see where, next to the sink, when somebody dries their hands, water lands on the floor and it creates a wear pattern. And, we like that kind of ongoing evolution and signs of life in a house. One of the so-called rules for kitchens that I don't actually agree with is that you need a window over your sink. We put this sink in here between two original windows. I didn't want to put it in front of a window. I definitely didn't want to change the size of any of these windows. So instead, you're looking at this new beadboard paneling that sort of matches the rest, but it definitely is contemporary, as you can see from the knots that show through on modern wood. When I use this sink, I can look out the window there, I can look out the window at the garden there. I've got this amazing dish rack that was created for this house by our carpenter, and it's, again, terrific storage for plates and all of that, but it also has the functionality of being a drying rack that goes right into the sink. This sink was donated to us from a friend who was remodeling her own kitchen, and it just happened to fit exactly in this space between the two windows. So the carpenter built the cabinet base, put it in. It's this beautiful double cast iron sink with a drain board on this side. And drain boards like this you can definitely find in architectural salvage or antique stores. Enameled iron, and it's great. In my book, there really aren't hard and fast rules, except in a kitchen you want to make sure that anything that is character defining features, like the wainscoting, like the floor, like the windows, preserve those. And beyond that, it's your kitchen. There's lots of flexibility. There are lots of ways to go about redesigning a kitchen like this. You could go modern. The juxtaposition of modern and vintage can be wonderful. So I encourage you to be bold in those choices. Just don't rip out anything that you're going to regret later. Here's an area where we introduced a big change to this kitchen. Of course, we kept this original 6-panel door with this great hardware. You see a little bit of the wainscoting over here. But there was a chimney here. This is where the stove was, the cooking stove. So somebody had to stand over in this corner and cook. We needed to demolish that original brick single flue chimney. There had been several chimney fires and it needed to be replaced. So what we did, we started from the basement. We built a new 2-flue brick chimney. So 1 flue is for the boiler, which is in the basement. The other flue is for a wood-burning stove that we put on the other side of the wall in the living room. And we decided to leave the brick exposed in here. It looks like a chimney, and the bonus is that when we get the wood stove going in the winter, this whole brick mass turns into one big radiator. So recently I was on a site consultation with a homeowner, and we were looking at this back hallway service area of the house, and it's right next to the kitchen, and she was asking, can we enlarge the kitchen and absorb this hallway space? And I said, you know, that's the perfect place to think about adding 21st century amenities to a house. So we're going to be preserving, of course, the center hall staircase, the original parlor, the original dining room. Those are the formal spaces of the house. These back areas, these have changed continually over time. So I advised her that is exactly where you want to think about improving the footprint of the kitchen by absorbing this secondary space. So I'm so grateful to all of you who have liked and followed the Gilded Age Rescue project. We're excited to talk to you about the next phase, where we're going to be sitting down with the homeowners and the architect to plan the layout for the kitchen and more. You may see some of these kitchen design principles pop up in that conversation. We shall see.